And welcome back to episode 5 of The Legends of the Shattering. The name of the episode is not up there, but it is When Darkness Strives. Real quick, we're just going to do... Am I going the right way for this? Yes! Yes!
On the first go.
Yes!
I'm so
I'm not like... I just got to go to my mic side and we'll be fine. Anywho, we're going to do real quick introductions, and we'll go right into our intro video and our recap. So, starting.
Hey guys, I'm Dia, also known as Diavel.cause on most social media, especially on TikTok. I've actually just finished a convention here in Auckland, so I've got some new content up on my page if you'd like to go check that out. I play Orez, who is our butterfly ASMR bard. Passing it over to Ivo.
Over to Ivo.
Over that way, this way, that way. There we go. So hard.
It's confusing.
It is confusing. Hi, I'm Chris Kinney, and I play Evo, our Ranger Rogue. You can follow me at the socials at this thing over here.
He also makes pottery, and I just had a package come in.
You have a new one?
I have a new vase.
So jealous.
Wait, my third one's somewhere else, but it's smaller than this one, so it's like 3 different. It's fantastic. But anywho,
Yeah.
Me now? Okay, I'm easy because I'm just down. Hi, I'm Pixie. I am playing Xandra, our vampire warlock, and you can find me on Instagram and on TikTok at itsybitsypixie. Haven't made new content in forever, but new content is technically coming sometime this month, next month. Who knows? It'll be a surprise.
that when she's making new content is to be diced. What? Anywho, just a real quick announcement. We got a game tomorrow night starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm not doing the math for everybody. But it's Dimensional Dial of Dr. Diego. If you haven't seen it already, go check it out. Our wonderful Matthew runs that. And then on Friday, we have Tales of Varden by Chris, the little puka. He does a phenomenal job, and we all just got stuck in a sludge monster. So there's that. And then on Sunday, we have Frontiers of Eberron that runs at 8 p.m. No, 8 or 9. Is it 8 or 9?
Depends what time zone you're in.
8 or 9. It's
Yeah.
a toss-up, really.
8 Central.
That's
9
8
Eastern.
Central.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wait, do I get that mixed up? I thought it was Eastern. Hello, dog. I thought it was Eastern, Central, Mountain, Pacific.
You're ahead of me
By an
by
hour.
1 hour. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And I
Cool.
played on Sunday, and I started at 8.
I
Yeah.
thought I was
There we
confused.
go.
Okay, so it was 9. Cool.
You're good.
Anywho, we're gonna do this awesome intro video that our great Michael has created for us. If I can find it, as per usual. So good. So good every time. It's like a mixture. The music reminds me of a mixture between Harry Potter and The Incredibles. Just putting that up. That's the vibe I get. That's the vibe I get. It's not a bad vibe. It's the vibe I get. So, anywho, last session was a little bit rough. The party finally got into the castle where the shadow dragon known as Jargentarth resides, and he told them that they would be safe there. And as everybody kind of went out to do their own thing, they ran into Niall for the second time now. And some very traumatic and dramatic and dramatic things happened that you'll have to go back and watch the last session for. But in this moment, it's after a conflict with Niall, and it's given you all a moment to breathe. It's right after a fight, right after all of that has happened. Hope almost got ripped away and returned. The Wanderer fading into nothing but breaking the seal that was holding you here. Xandra, you felt the overwhelming urge of loneliness in the place you knew Lamra was. Kore, you feel the hope inside of you as the goddess Lux resides. Ivo, the relief you feel from Kore not permanently being dead and magically brought back to life. You all kind of see Nimbus out of breath. Just... And he looks up to you guys. Nimbus needs to go find Orez. And you just see him dart off. What are you doing in this moment?
Xandra will sort of sink back down to the floor and just sort of sit slowly, crisscross applesauce, and just sort of sit there and ponder for a moment and have a bit of a confused, dazed look on her face. I think we have a bigger problem. Well, we've had a lot of good news. I can't feel Lamra anymore. Ooh, that's a very strange sensation. I don't know what that means. That's never happened before.
You can't feel her in what way? Can't hear her? Can't sense her?
She is all of the ways. She is very much gone from me. It feels as though she doesn't exist. I'm always aware of her presence. It's always like she is technically right at my shoulder, and I'm sorry. I don't know what that means. Jargon said that they were after her next. No, she is completely gone from me. I don't feel her presence at all. Not even slightly.
So you don't think it's this castle then? Something blocking? You think she's gone?
No, in fact, and Xander will sort of take a moment to assess her surroundings. I actually don't think the castle is blocked at all anymore. Interesting. That presence that I felt, that was keeping me, that was different. This is... I can't sense it quite the same way, mind you. I don't have any magic, but that is a little different sensation. I think banishing Niall has released the castle, potentially.
Astrius worked eons old magic, and that seemed to have restored. Well, reformed the barrier, and it's no longer hindering us as it once did.
Which should also mean that it's no longer hindering Jargon.
So
He
we
should
could
be able-
potentially leave.
He could potentially leave and take us with him. Unless he left for Lamra already. That depends.
That leaves us with very few options on leaving then if you can't do your teleporty business.
No, that also means I cannot get home.
If we're no longer bound by magic and kept here, there is always the tried and true classic option of going on foot, which may take time, but
Like,
options are limited.
like walking. On our feet.
Yeah, that's what
Horses
normal
exist, Zandra. Mounts exist too. I can fly, I don't know about you.
Like a horse.
Yes. You've
Horses
seen
don't
horses
like me.
walking 4 legs.
Have you seen
Oh.
me? Yes, horses don't like me. They get very what is it, spooky.
What if we found a spooky horse?
There's bound to be something out here that you can ride.
It doesn't need to be a horse.
That's true. It doesn't need to
Maybe
be a
there's
horse.
drakes around, I don't know.
Ooh,
You can ask Jargon.
I've known a pet drake once. It's
Oh.
fabulous. It's adorable. Anyway, yes, that is a bit of a problem. Okay, let's reassess. Orez is gone. Nimbus has gone to find Orez. Jargon is gone. We have no idea if Jargon's on the island or away. We have no way to get free. I cannot get home. Wait. We are in a dragon's castle. Yes?
Yes.
Dragons, what do they have?
Wings?
Gold.
Yes, they have wings. Very good, Ivo. Sweet Ivo. Gold sometimes, yes, but what is it called when a dragon has so much gold?
A hoard.
A hoard, exactly. Now,
What does Jargon hoard?
precisely. What does Jargon hold? So, idea. Dragons usually have very interesting things. I would know. I've been friends with them for a very long time. So, have we found anything? You guys have been in here much longer than me. Did you find anything interesting?
He just holds up a bow. I found a
I
stick.
voted. That's a stick.
Well, it's actually a bow, and he's gonna pull it back, and you'll see the arrow form. I'd say this is rather interesting, wouldn't you? And then he kind of slowly puts it back and doesn't fire.
Amazing.
As you slowly pull the string back, it like the arrow unweaves back into the string.
That is a very fascinating piece. Where did you locate that?
Right over there behind that door. It's this large room, just simple, kind of like a cathedral or a prayer room or something. I don't know, some sort of
Interesting.
altar of some sort. And I pulled it off. He said I could take him. So
He.
The stick said you could take him.
yeah, his name's Grendir. Grendir, say hi.
Oh, that is interesting indeed.
Koray and Xandra, as he says, Grendir, say hi. You both hear in your heads, well, hello there.
Well, hello. It's very nice to
Enchanted.
meet you. You're a
I
lovely bow.
am a tree.
I think he's been here for quite a while.
I don't mean to be insulting to a tree, but Grenda, it seems that you're missing some pieces.
I will let Ivo tell that story.
Not very talkative, is he? That's okay. Fair enough.
Short story is, this is all that's left of him, apparently, and Jargon saved him and brought him into his castle, and just kept him here and kept him company. I don't know how long or what's going on with him, but he wants to be outside again, and I told him I'd do him that favor. So I guess he's coming with, and he's pretty useful. Did you see all the branches and vines and stuff coming out of Nile? I can't say that I've ever been happy in the presence of that man, and that made me pretty damn happy.
That is
You did
true.
very
I
well.
can't say that I've ever been happy in the presence of Niall myself either, but coming about this close to chopping off his ugly face was about the most joy I've felt in a very long time.
Yeah, it felt pretty good.
It
I can't
did.
say I've ever been dead in the presence of everyone, so that was interesting.
Darling,
don't
that
do
is
that again.
not interesting. That was traumatic.
Hmm.
Could we not do that again, please? Potentially. Maybe.
Agreed. Mhm.
An effort will be made. No promises will be sworn. We know we're on a treacherous path. Not all of
True.
us are undead as you are. Yet,
Also true.
I hope.
Also
Hmm.
true. I do have a leg up in that way, unfortunately. Not by choice, mind you. Remember, Niall, nasty man. Okay. So,
Nasty Niall,
found-
it's just kind of what we call him now.
Nasty man, is that what we call him? Nasty man.
Okay, so we have a magic stick. That is lovely. I am so excited for you, Mr. Tree. Anything else? Did we find anything else of value? Anything that looks like a dragon would have really enjoyed it?
I don't know. I mean, I could ask Grendier. He's been in here a while. Might know where he keeps his stuff. There's a really nice forge. I saw Nimbus come in and out of there a few times with some pretty neat stuff. So
Okay.
I'm sure there's a magic hammer or something in there. I don't know if that's useful for
Oh.
getting out of here.
He's just got stuff lying around then, it seems. Okay. Well, scavenger hunt. What say you?
Scavenger hunt.
Scavenger hunt. I like it.
Yeah.
Shall we say we will not split up this time?
I would say sticking
Absolutely.
as a group is wise. Scavenger hunt together. Yep.
Together.
Because have no idea what else is going to appear in this castle. So much for it being safe.
Can
And with that,
we,
she'll just.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Oh,
Jargon
yes, of
said we were
course.
supposed to be safe, and
That is what he said.
then Niall shows up 10 minutes later.
If
I
that-
wouldn't count that as safe.
No. I'll be having a chat with him about that next time I see him. Trust me.
He seems so
I would
sure.
like a few words as well.
He was very sure and indeed quite positive that we should rest in here, have a good time. He would be back, la-di-da-di-da. Not safe
Wait a
indeed.
second.
I will.
That seems awful suspicious, don't it? Rest here, be right here, and then take off, and then Niall shows up. I know I said I wouldn't judge too quickly, but are things lining up for you? I'm not saying... I don't know. He could have just finished us off himself, instead of sending Niall. Unless Niall needed something. And he did burn that book, so there's... I don't know. It's so confusing.
That is food for thought. And then you'll see her face just sort of gets more serious all of a sudden. I'm going to put that thought out of my mind. He seemed so sincere before, and if he's done anything to his sister, I will slay my first dragon. Thank you. That's lovely. Thank you so much. If he's done anything to my Lamra, I will slay my first dragon, magic or no magic. However, second thought, different thought, potential thought, maybe. If he is in fact a good guy, I might need him for a little favor. It's quite
Right.
inconvenient being a warlock with no magic, you see. Very inconvenient indeed.
And that would put a damper on things. I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying we should keep our
It's
guard up.
suspicious. I
It is
completely
suspicious,
agree.
right?
I don't
Even
like
good
it.
guys may be misled under the right circumstances and with the right push.
You know,
Or
the other
shove.
thing that was very
Or club across the head.
interesting.
There are options. As ever.
Options indeed. Options indeed. You know, the other thing that I know he told me he couldn't make heads or tails of when I asked. He didn't know who had the seal on the island. I asked if it was Nile, and I asked if it was someone above Nile. And Jargon actually couldn't tell me, which I found surprising at the time, but now I think is quite odd. To tell me that he thinks this castle is safe, given that this entire island was a trap.
And Niall was here the whole
And
time.
Niall's here the whole time, and let us not forget, banishing Nile clearly has gotten rid of the magic that sealed this island, which means that that was not someone above Nile what cast it, but Nile himself. Either our Jargon has literally been in the dark this whole time, deep in shadows, and has known nothing, or he lied. That's
How
putting up.
powerful is this Niall? We don't know anything about him. You do.
Yes, but I know of what he was like before, when he was just a vampire, a high-ranking vampire at that, but a vampire. Now he is something else, and I will tell you, Niall never knew how to stop time before. He has gained power, immense power in comparison. That I can tell you. This, what he has done since seeing him again, is completely beyond any of his powers he used to have. How large that margin is between what I knew of Niall and the Niall that we see now is the question. And I fear very greatly that that is a wide, wide margin indeed.
And clearly, he's powerful enough to do what he did with a flick of his hand.
Without breaking a sweat now.
Hmm.
He can slaughter probably hundreds without breaking a sweat now.
So it is possible that he could not necessarily corrupt the mind of Jargon, but obscure it to his presence.
I mean, and you'll
If we're
see
giving
Xandra sort
benefit
of
of
work
doubt.
through the differences of the magic she knows and the different powers she knows. I mean, technically, yes, if he is strong enough. I mean, trust me, a mere vampire, even a magical warlock vampire at that, would never be strong enough to sway the mind of a dragon. But given the fact that we have absolutely no idea what Niall's abilities are now and no idea how large that margin is of power, I'm going to say it is 100% possible that, yes, perhaps he can sway the mind of a dragon now. But I can tell you for certain that it was not possible when I knew him before. If that is a new trick, that is a dangerous and scary trick indeed.
Question, DM. Might Corey know if it's possible for a magic user to cast a mind-altering spell or a seal the way Niall did, without leaving a trace as to who might have cast it? Like, is that kind of magic powerful? Like, is that a possibility?
So what you're asking is if that magic was so powerful that it's not like it could completely evaporate without any trace.
Yeah. Like an untraceable seal, for example, which is essentially what we're looking at.
Roll me an Arcana check.
Sure. $17. Wait.
7.
No. Wait. 23, sorry. I didn't add my modifiers.
I was like, okay, I'll give you a little bit. And then you're like 23. I'm like, oh man. That was a good one. So how would you try to perceive this?
Mama and her stories. And in my education of magic and what that entails. Is it possible to cast magic on someone and not have it be linked back to you? That is the way she's sort of thinking about it. In the most basic sense.
So remind me one more time what exactly you're looking for, so I'm giving you right information.
In the basic sense, Kore's question, like train of thought is, can I cast a spell and get away with never being found out that it was me who cast it? That's sort of the angle.
Not that you know of. Because it's almost like every individual person wearing their own perfume. They all have an individual smell. It's the same aspect with magic. Everybody has their own lingering effect from magic. So as far as you are aware, every piece of magic, every spell, every item that's ever been made with magic almost has a trademark stamp on it with somebody's individuality.
To which Kore will... She almost seems like she was staring off into blank space and sort of... You can almost see her and her little mind powers, her eyes sort of wavering and not looking at Eva and Zandra until she sort of snaps back and says, it shouldn't be possible to not trace someone's magic back to them. Magic is like a fingerprint. You leave your mark on it and it can be traced back to you, no matter how minuscule. If someone knew what they were looking for, they can trace that thread right back to you across a continent, across planes.
That's an incredibly insightful point.
Even if magic was overridden or a curse was broken, the stronger magic caster, overriding what had been enchanted or cursed, would also leave its mark. For example, when she draws her rapier, and you see it's a different visage, as mentioned before in previous evenings, where it's no longer her green floral motif, silver and gold rapier. It's now this black and red Zalium, or one that she mentioned her aunt used to train her. When the illusion of this dissipated, I smelled nightly ori and jasmine, which is very distinct of my aunt, and that's how I knew this was hers. If there is no trace of what caused the seal to be formed to begin with, it is unfathomable. That is new and unheard of, and dangerous. Who knows what someone could get away with that sort of power?
And once again, we don't know if that is in fact Niall being so powerful as to hide his magic, which is an incredibly insightful point, or if Jargon indeed lied about that as well.
Niall did speak of killing a god.
The goddess of time, he said.
That should not be possible. So yet again, his power, for all we know, he could be disguising himself as Jargentarth and just, projecting him an image into our minds. I don't know what's going on. But
that would be unlike him.
The Pantheon is not as strong as it once was, is what Lux told me when she saved me from the dreamscape. The lack of belief since the Shattering has weakened them. So, if they were to be slain or corrupted in their current state, it wouldn't be so unfathomable, considering he also tried to rip a goddess from my mind.
True. And if we're thinking of things as sealing away his ability to leave his magical trace, messing with the minds of dragons, I mean, how much farther off is killing a god at the rate we're going? And if he's been killing gods, and I say gods plural, perhaps that's part of where these unfathomable abilities.
Considering Lux did refer to the Pantheon as the Shattered Pantheon, the odds are not in our favor.
As they have not been this entire time.
Woe is us. Yeah, here we are.
Oh, yes, that's plenty heavy, isn't it?
Yes. Shall we go on a treasure hunt?
Do you think he has any tea? Ivo.
Oh,
Do dragons drink tea?
We can find tea. Do you think we can make tea?
I can make tea now, right now. I've got some in my pack, but it's a bit old. If you want some fresh, we could look for some fresh one.
That too. I tell you what, as we're finding it, you need to make something. You need to use things to make it, right?
Just a kettle and a few cups.
Exactly. So then on the way to the kitchen, we'll see if there's fresh tea. If there's fresh tea, we'll make that tea. If there's not fresh tea, we'll make your tea. Either way, we're having tea.
It's good.
Anyway.
What else he's got?
Exactly. Precisely. Anyway, scavenger hunt. And she'll just sort of stand back up and start wandering around a little bit and look back at the two others. So where have we been in here so far? And what's new?
I love his library. It is quite fantastic.
Oh, there's a library.
There's a forge. There's the chapel room you mentioned, Ivo. There's the bones outside the front door. Got some of those too.
True. Nimbus has been forging, has he not?
Mm.
Okay, well then let's go wandering someplace else. And Xander will start heading in a direction, looking through different spaces in the castle, trying to find different rooms and different doors.
If I were a kitchen in a castle, where would I be? Is what Cora is thinking.
Oh, I thought you were saying it out loud. I was like, this is fantastic.
Also that, yeah.
So as you kind of walk past his very large oak table, as you look past it, you see the stairs with the books kind of floating around. And off to your left, you'll see like a little door on your left and a little door on your right. You can tell that it almost reminds you of Xandra and Corey. It almost reminds you both of like if you ever been in a kingdom, in a castle, how you have your servants' entrances. Mm. That's what it reminds you two of. I'm pretty sure your tree houses don't have servant entrances.
Xandra, as she sees these, will be like, given that this is a castle, and seeing as how I grew up in one, usually in places as big as this, Ivo, probably not familiar with this, seeing as tree houses are kind of, all compact, and you do everything yourself. Usually in a castle, you have help. Well, help by that, I mean servants. It's not trust me, it's not a fun job. But anyway, due to the nature of the majesty and all the hubbub that all the fancy people like to have, they usually like to keep their help down below. And that is usually where the kitchens are.
So if the help and the kitchens and all that is kept down below, then the hoard is up?
Up, all around, deeper in. It just depends on the dragon. It depends on how, pessimistic they are about things like their hold. If, let's say, for instance, Jargon was holding, I don't know, things like knowledge. Who's to say that the library that Corey is in love with, because it's probably I cannot wait to see it. You're gonna have to take me to that, by the way. If he holds books, for instance, the library would technically count. If he holds crumpets, those are gonna be down in the kitchen. It just depends. It depends. If
he's
it's gold,
hoarding
then
gold,
yeah,
he
I've
better
known
go
a couple
first.
dragons who have like the whole vault system, and it's all down in the middle. It's very hard to get to. That one had a moat. It's ridiculous.
What were you saying, Ivo?
Oh, I'm just saying if he's hoarding pastries, that's where we need to go first.
Love it. Love it. So where are you guys going?
To the kitchen.
Kitchen.
Through the servants' quarters,
Kitchen.
through the servants'
Okay.
passages to see
Yeah.
if we can find the kitchen.
So as you walk in the side of one of the servants' doors, it opens up into a very large kitchen. You could tell whoever built this castle didn't want to wait for food. Closest thing to the table. And as you're looking around, you can see the different makeshift stoves and stuff that they would have, furnaces, stuff like that, all lined up. You can see pots and pans and kettles all hung up on these hooks above this countertop in the center. And Ivo, you would notice as soon as you walk in the door off to the right, there's this counter, but right above the counter, there's jars. And they're not labeled, but you know what they are. You found your teas.
He's gonna run and kind of like scurry up onto the shelves and start like popping off the jars. No, that's hibiscus rose hip. All right. Oh, white jade. Oh, man, this guy's got some taste. Chamomile ginger, cinnamon cardamom. Which one would you like? He's got some really nice ones.
Well, Ivo's going for each gin. He's coming down. Corey's picking them back up and taking a quick sniff and then putting them back where he got them. It's like a little cycle.
I think if we mix these couple of here, that would actually be really nice. I'll get the tea kettle on. And he runs and grabs a kettle and fills it with water and puts it on, tries to spark and make a fire.
You go over to what you would assume would be the spigot. And as you start pumping it a couple times, you see runes on the piece of metal start to glow. And you can see that if you turn it to one side, the runes glow red. If you turn it to the other side, they glow blue. And you can see that as it turns red, you see the water coming out scalding hot like it was already on the stove. If you turn it the other way, it's so cold.
This is the best integration of magical technology I've ever seen.
Wait, is it actually?
So fancy. It's
You
so
have
fancy.
plumbing. Indoor plumbing. It's gonna be big. So he turns around and goes, Jargentarth's thought of everything. And he's just like pouring
One day
scalding
magic,
water into the
that's
kettle.
goodness.
Begins to brew.
As you guys are doing that,
excited.
Sandra will just be kind of constantly wandering around. You're going to see her doing this a lot where her hands are either behind her back and she's just sort of like peering, and then she makes these really big bending motions and she looks at things kind of upside down and up over and sideways, and she's just like analyzing every little thing she sees, paying attention to every little thing that she thinks may be magical or special, and you just keep hearing her muttering, no, that's actually just a kettle. No, those are actually just teas. There's not a crumpet in sight for one, so I don't think anything's folded in the kitchen.
Is it dusty in here? Or does it appear to have been cleaned? Like, has this space been in use?
Everything's spotless.
Corey just,
Nothing.
oh. Very nice. By spell or by
So-
help, he's keeping this place quite spotless. I was worried about the dust bunnies, to be quite honest. No one
I
wants
think
more
he
to
has a
come.
lot of time on his
country.
hands. Entirely too much time on his hands, clearly. And nothing's interesting in here other than the lovely tea, Ivo, of course. But there's nothing interesting in here at all. This is not where the scavenger hunt is going to happen. We need more. This is just a kitchen.
Corey is
would
going
love
to
this
find
kitchen.
some nice cups for everyone. 2 teacups for myself and Zandra, a smaller one, but like an espresso cup, but it's just the right size for Ivo, and I set those up.
You see a couple, you can tell were made out of clay, and there's a stamp underneath that says Claybeard.
Yes.
One specifically that looks like this. That Ivo runs up and it's as big as his chest, and he's just like, "Aw."
That is going to be Zandra's cup because she needs the largest cup of tea.
Can I make a
At this
nature check?
moment.
Make sure it's not a mimic.
I've had a hard day.
Cora, it was like a vase-sized cup. Alexandra, this one will be yours.
I love this.
Thank you.
So
I
I'll
love
go
the
ahead
straw
and
feature.
go ahead and pour the 2 cups, and then like pop them in front of like each person for them to have. So I'm guessing you didn't find what you're after in here. I mean, I did, but
Yes, the tea is lovely, but none of this. And she just keeps waving her arms around. This is just a kitchen. A fancy kitchen at that, but just a kitchen. I do
Do
love
you
that sink. That's amazing.
do you find any
Tea on
crumpets
the go
by
then.
chance?
I have not seen a single crumpet. I'm very disappointed.
Ah.
I love crumpets. Contrary to popular belief, or if either one of you say something.
Well, here, I've got these. They're rutabaga crisps. They're not crumpets, but they'll do in a pinch.
Should just sort of take one. I implied that I don't just live off of blood, but I don't eat like a rabbit. I'm sure it's delicious. It's delicious.
Yeah. It's basically the texture and taste of like just a very bland rice cake. No. Well, they've kept me going through some things. So, Cora, you said tea on the go. I think that's a great idea.
All right then. Tea on the go. Where to next? And she'll just sort of like right out the doorway to the kitchen.
Have you been here before, Sandra?
To this castle.
Ah,
Oh no,
aye.
but dragon castles tend to all be made alike, and you know, I honestly, if you ask me, I think this is where all the hubbub of the elves comes from. Personally, I think they were actually trying to keep up with the Joneses, aka the dragons, because frankly, all of our shit looks an awful lot like this. Really, it's just because dragons are full of themselves and they like glamour and all this kind of stuff. So really, once you've seen one castle, Ivo, frankly, you've seen them all.
Right.
They're all laid out about the same, give or take.
Then I guess you're the best person to point us in the right direction of the more interesting
True.
items.
I suppose we should go. And she sort of looks around. Kitchens, great halls. A lot of like utility stuff down in here, seeing as how Ivo had it. So we're gonna go up. I think up is a good idea. And
Maybe
she
as
will.
a study. Or a treasure room.
Oh,
Castles have treasure rooms.
with that melancholy attitude, I bet he spends a lot of time in a study. Yes, excellent idea, Corey. Excellent indeed. We'll find a study.
Victor,
don't
I'll be
know,
completely
Victor.
honest. I'm envisioning the West Wing of Beauty and the Beast, and I'm thinking, yes, Jargonwood.
He would. He
The
would.
West
You know what? I was just thinking he kind of
Nothing
gave off
else.
Beast
He
vibes.
would. He would.
Yeah. Because Isaac, he
There's
gave me
a
the
West
Beauty and the
Wing.
Beast library, so there must be a West Wing to go with it. He's very Beast. Right down to being trapped in his own castle. Oh my god, I'm a genius.
You just figured
No
it
one's
out.
thinking.
He just needs his beauty. As all of you are kind of working your way to the stairs, Ivo, what's your passive perception again? Isn't it like 18?
17.
Okay, that's close. You notice a claw mark on the left side of the staircase as you're about to go up. It's off to the left.
Is it over a painting?
No. It's in the stone tile. And as you kind of look, you do see a painting torn to shreds.
How cliche.
And there's a chair that looks like it was very fine with a cushion on it that was completely ripped apart. And as you're kind of looking, you almost see like black smudges everywhere. You see these marks everywhere. You see the claw marks and the chair being ripped apart. You see it's almost like lingering shadow is what it looks like.
Is there a way to know how old these are? Like how old this destruction is? If it was done a long time ago, or was this recent?
Roll me. What would you say? Investigation or survival?
Yeah, investigation or intelligence, either one. Probably.
I'll say investigation.
Ugh. So do you say 5 plus investigation plus 3? So 8.
You do have the flippy if you would like to use it.
Not
You don't have to. I was just saying.
Not for this, I think.
Small potatoes. Small potatoes.
I'm going to refresh the chat with that because we do have 7 people watching. So we're trying this new thing where you have a coin of advantage, and if the players use it, it flips over and gives the DM a coin of disadvantage that he can use on the players. So to get their advantage, like they get the advantage, they can use it. Then if they get disadvantage on them, then it flips back over to advantage, and then they can use it again. It's pretty cool. So as you're kind of looking, you can't tell. It doesn't look super, super old, but you can't tell how fresh it is either.
With that, does it look like this was a scuffle between individuals, or was this a rage room?
For that, give me an insight check.
Insight check.
Corey,
That's better.
Yes.
depending on what he gets, I'll let you know what you see. Because
Okay.
I know your insight's out the wazoo.
It's 15 plus 3, 18.
So I think
Her
you both have the
perception
same
is low,
thing.
but God forbid she focus on something.
You have an 18 passive insight, correct?
Me?
Corey.
19.
19? That's close. Corey and Ivo, you both come to that same like light bulb moment at the same time. This looks like it was a rage room. And as in a rage room, I mean the whole back end of the castle. As you're looking, you see claw marks, almost like a small figure running up the side of the wall, clawing. You see almost black shadow lingering on the walls. You see the ground all scratched up. And as you're looking, you see over in the corner where normally there would be a shadow. There's almost like the stone was almost like a marble, but that's all you can see in this tiny little figure. It's almost like a chalk outline, but everything in the chalk outline is perfectly pristine. And it's almost like an explosion of black went out every direction.
Zandra, you didn't tell me you had a temper tantrum wing.
Xandra will sort of look around and pay attention to all this. So he can be more than melancholy. Interesting. Very interesting. I think someone has trouble expressing himself.
Well, to be fair, if we were cooped up in our own castle for centuries on end, I think we would be tearing out our hair as well.
True, very true. And we still don't know exactly what Jargon's place is in all of this. So who's to say what this rage is even aimed at? Is it aimed at being trapped here? Is it aimed at being manipulated by a vampire turned screaming or laughing horror? Whatever we call them, I don't remember. They're horrible, one way or another. Anyway, my point stands. Clearly. This is clearly some sort of regular expression. Don't approve.
There's got to be a healthier way to express yourself.
Trust me, there is. I like retail therapy personally. I actually like to go shopping. This is very nice things. If you actually look, have you seen these chairs? They were once lovely.
That wouldn't time.
Completely. He's ruined all the merchandise in here. I could have done something with that one over there.
Corey, as you're kind of walking around this rage room and you look in the corner where you see where the black explosion happened, you almost see like a little burnt paw print right on the stone, right where the outline of the figure was.
Nobody move. And she's going to, with her teacup in both hands, just dart up to look at the paw print. Has anyone seen Earth? The dog. Is it that size paw print?
Sandra will look down. No.
Is it dog-sized? Or is it dragon-sized?
It's puppy-sized.
The dog was here. The puppy was here, Sandra. The puppy. The flaming hell puppy was here.
Oh, the darling dear. Do you think they know how to follow Orez? It's not lost, is it? I'll be devastated if that beautiful little puppy is lost.
Ivo.
These claw marks, are they dragon-sized? Or no? I don't think this was jargon.
What do you mean it wasn't jargon? Of course it would have been jargon.
No,
It has to be jargon. He's the only one here.
Look at the size of that imprint on the wall. You couple that with a puppy print. Who's that size and has a puppy?
And Xander will sort of get closer to some of the scratches. See, I don't do my best work when I'm flustered. That's the whole problem. This is odd. This is very odd. Why would he... Does Xandra recognize the claw patterns at all as anything specific if it's not a dragon?
Roll me a history check.
Thank you.
Chris, I know you already know.
This is what Xandra gets for never paying attention in school. That was a 6.
You have your coin.
That's true.
You have an Ivo.
You do have an Ivo too.
I was going to say, do we want to use a coin for something like this, Ivo? Seeing as how we were saying small potatoes before?
Is this what Orez ran off to?
You know what? It's a role play session. We're gonna roll it again. I'm just curious. What happens.
Oh no.
That was a 12.
Oh, that's good enough. It wasn't a high DC. These are the same claw patterns that was on the body that Orez tore to shreds.
Oh, so this was Orez's rage room.
I needed somewhere to let it out. And they chose here.
I see.
And as you look up, it easily goes up 50 feet. Just claw marks everywhere, shadow everywhere. You can see a couple spots where teeth dug into the wall.
I would say that we officially know why little Oreo took off this time.
I don't think any of us would have survived this.
Yes, I think This would have been very difficult indeed. But also, this would have been very fast if you think about it. How long have we been here? Not very long.
Not long at
They
all.
would have
I mean,
barely. I mean, this is me fast. This is very fast if you think about it. And they'd never heard. I mean, they would have just left. They didn't hear us fighting Nile.
no.
But to get all of this done, this is ridiculous. This is. Xandra wants to look for any signs that Orez may still be in the vicinity. Are there any tracks that clearly lead in like a specific direction?
Roll me a perception. Or investigation, your choice.
I'm better at investigation. Let's do that. 20.
Who dramatically just hit their mic? 20. That was like the period at the end of the sentence. As you're kind of looking around, you can't really see any distinguishable difference between the shadow on the walls and the shadow on the ground, and the paw print you saw was the only one. And other than that, you find nothing. It almost looks like right where that explosion of shadow happened, they vanished.
No, I don't think they are here. As Xandra's been sort of looking around, trying to find patterns in the scratches, trying to find any sign that they were anywhere other than here. No, I don't think they're here anymore, but she'll sort of stroke one of the claw marks along the wall. This bothers me, though, so deeply.
It's
They
about
haven't
an
been
inch and a
gone
half.
for very long.
It's about an inch and a half to 2 inches deep in the wall where you see the claw marks.
They haven't been gone for very long. They were here while we were here doing this. We were out being in libraries and forging things and talking to dragons. And they were in here doing this. And then they left.
If this was her way to cope, then who are we to judge? When everything they knew came
True.
crashing down upon her.
I suppose in some ways it was good that I left when I did, though I have so much regret over that.
Xandra,
Something
you'll
to-
feel a paw around your calf or knee, and Eva will just say, Nimbus will find her. And I think
Sure.
they know how to deal with each other, and they'll be all right.
Yes, that's true. This is formidable indeed. And she'll look down at Ivo. This would have hurt even me. Anyway, we'll deal with this on a different day when we see them again. Okay, moving on then.
As you all turn around, you see Nile. Not really.
Don't you dare.
You see underneath the staircase going up, it's spiraling down too. So that's going both ways, up and down.
I'm inclined to go up.
I was thinking up as well. I said up originally.
Let's go up.
Can't help it. I wasn't expecting a spiral staircase going down.
I'm going down. No.
Separates
No.
the party
No.
again.
No, don't split the party.
No.
No.
As Ivo walks
No
down
way.
the stairs, Niall's waiting. Time stops. Wait, what?
Corey
we all
goes up,
start
Ivo
having
goes down.
explosions.
Ivo realizes Corey's going up and goes after Corey.
Oh, wait, wrong way. So as you guys are going upstairs, it seems like it's going on forever, but it's almost like you travel up these stairs instantly at the same time. Because you're walking and walking and walking, but soon as you start walking, you're at the top. Almost like you got teleported, but you know you walked up those stairs. Like it's almost like a thought in the back of your head, like we just walked up all those stairs, but it was instantaneous.
It's like blacking
That's a
out
neat
when you're
trick.
driving home.
Not that we wouldn't know. Drive safe, kids.
Oh man, I'm home. How did that happen? Well, okay.
Yeah.
I have done that at like 4 a.m. I wasn't even drinking. It was just I was like, I'm so tired. Wait, how did I get home? I'm so confused. And when you make it to the top of these stairs, it's almost like the books are rotating the whole time to the ceiling. And as you emerge from where the ceiling meets the stairs and turns into the floor of the second floor, you see this hallway going straight down. You can tell that it's following the main structure, and the hallways leading to the front gate of the castle, but you can see just big doors going down both sides.
Are they locked?
Are you trying them?
Oh, yes. We got permission to go through the castle. Corey's going through the castle and she's opening every door that she can open.
Just like checking every door. Every door opens. And every
See this right here. This is what I'm talking about. This. And she looks down at Ivo again. This is something special. There's good shit in here. I could smell it.
She's smelling the latrine.
Yeah, I think that's his plumbing. But all right, and he's just gonna dart
No!
for the door, sticking his head in.
I can smell it.
Fine. Are
You
you
look-
sure?
You look down, and Ivo opened a little thing of the tea that he stole from the kitchen, and you're just like, I can smell it. And he's like, mine?
Ivo. How would you bring that with you?
It's very nice tea. I'm sure he wouldn't mind.
I'm starting to think he doesn't have one, and if he doesn't have one, I'm going to be incredibly miffed.
Oh,
Do you have any idea how I'm going to be miffed if he doesn't have a hold?
Quite miffed. Yeah.
Yes, very miffed.
What's in the first door? If it's empty,
Corey's
he's going to the
like, I
next
wanna
one. What's in this
know.
door?
Give me stuff, DM.
Every door you go into are bedchambers. All looking very similar, all almost mirror imaged to the one across the hall from it. Every door you go down.
Is it giving guest chambers or is it giving barracks? Because Cora has been in both.
Both.
Hmm.
It's almost like it's because the first 4, 2 doors on either side, both have like bunk beds lined up, but it's still very neat, tidy, no dust anywhere. Very, very neat. And as you go to after those 2 on either side, after you get to the third door, on both sides, it turns into really nice, neat, ornate guest chambers.
The bed in the guest chamber, the first one we come to, is it bouncy?
It's definitely bouncy.
Yeah,
Corey
Evo's
wants
gonna
to belly
definitely
flop
bounce.
onto it. Evo's testing it and Corey just Evo move and then belly flops onto it.
Oh, me too.
It's a very important test. We need to know if Jargon has good taste.
He's got
Xandra
some
will
good
be.
taste.
Xandra pokes her head in and just watches this go on. Not magic, though. Not a
I
hold.
think he
Not
hoards
holding
mattresses.
beds. No, he can't hold mattresses. What's the point of holding mattresses?
Have you
And
heard that
yeah.
story about the princess and the pea? That's the reason for hold mattresses.
I can't.
He doesn't have a hoard. That's what I'm starting to realize. He doesn't have a hoard. What dragon doesn't hoard something? That's impossible.
He hoards melancholy, it seems.
Stupid thing to hold. Stupid, lying, ridiculous, melancholy, stick in the mud dragon, and she just sort of like just starts stomping down the hallway.
Ivo and Corey. As Corey, you belly flop, and Ivo does the same. Both of you roll me wisdom saving throws.
Yes.
Is it Slinky? Slinky beard. Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh.
21.
Nice.
16. No. Yeah, 16.
Ivo, as soon as you hit that mattress, you're out. Lights out. You are snoring so loud. Corey, as you belly flopped onto this bed, you could tell that it was a very simple sleeping spell to help guests sleep. And as you're like contemplating this spell in your head and like picking it apart, you hear the belly flop of Ivo after he yelled "my turn," and then the instant snoring.
They are magic. Zandra, they're magic beds.
The magic beds.
No,
Hang on,
no.
she comes strutting back down the hallway and pokes back in.
No.
Well, you know what? The little rascal did need some sleep.
It's a very
hard
rudimentary
thing.
sleep spell, but it's magic. So you're not terribly disappointed.
Who holds magic mattresses, Corey?
A very good host, Sandra. A very
We
good
need
host.
something, unless I'm carrying it around as a shield, that doesn't really help my lack of magic right now. I can't make a mattress my patron.
You could whack someone with
Yeah. I was gonna say start shield bashing people to sleep.
Are the pillows that way too? Because I will grab one of those. Sleep. Pillow fight.
If Ivo's not snapping out of it and Zandra's going to continue our treasure hunt, Corey will scoop up Ivo and the pillow together and just carry them both. And then follow after Zandra to find something more interesting and a little bit more magical.
Oh, the amount of wholesome in this session right now.
We needed
Listen,
it.
after the last 2 sessions,
needed it.
we needed it.
Oh my word. And
Yeah.
she has a pillow.
We needed pillow fights right now.
Now all you need is a red panda.
I don't have my plushies, but that'll do.
That'll do. It's red.
I was
It
waiting
works.
for Dia to be like, please hold.
Yeah. Comes out with a red panda. I feel like it's gonna happen. So, Ivo, I will let you decide. Are you completely captivated by the sleep? Or are you trying to wake up?
Absolutely.
He's like, I am out.
This
It's
is a
his
feather
nap
down
time,
pillow, and
Nora.
I'm being carried. Like, life's good, man.
This is normal. This
And
is
you have
around
your-
your usual nap time, Ivo.
Corey knows if she needs me, just wake me up.
Corey, as you're carrying him and the pillow, you can feel the same magic off of the pillow as well.
Mm,
Just so you are aware.
nice.
When I swear, if I see Ivo shield bashing people with pillows, I'm gonna go back.
You
The
should.
BBEG.
I want a scene later where we're all trying to rest out in camp and we're like not able to sleep and we're all arguing about who gets the magic sleep pillow tonight.
Ivo. I will say, Corey, you will know that you can actually willingly fail the save as well. So that way, if guests did want to go straight to sleep, they could.
Insomniac's best friend.
Right? That's what I need. That's what I need. As you finish looking through all the rooms, the rest of them are the same. Just guest chambers with an empty chest at the base of the bed. Curtains shut if you would open the curtains, which I'm assuming you did, you would come to the exterior window where it had those dragon bones covering it, like the iron bars of like the old fancy houses. And as you're kind of looking around, you don't see anything else. That's almost it from up here.
Like we don't
Downstairs?
see, like we're at like the end of this section of the castle. There's nowhere else.
You're at there's a door at the very end, and if you open it up, there's actually like a little balcony that you can walk out on, and you're actually outside above the front gates of the castle.
I'm a parapets.
Okay, well, we've exhausted this direction. I guess downstairs?
Downstairs.
Downstairs. Huh. Wasn't up. Interesting. All that melancholy is real deep down inside. All those suppressed feelings. All those things we don't want to deal with, I guess. It would be down for him. Fine. We go deeper. It's ridiculous, this dragon.
I feel like all of you are going to have some words with Jargon if he comes back.
Van just grab me now. It's been a long day.
I knew you were going to say something, Chris. You know what? Go into the timeout corner. It won't let me. Let's try and put you in the corner. Didn't work. You can have the timeout bottom. There you go.
Oh, he's knocked out. Okay.
Oh,
Downstairs.
So as you all walk down the stairs, it's almost like the same feeling where you feel like you're walking forever, but it's instantaneous. And it's just that thought in the back of your head that you actually took all those stairs. None of the books really stood out to you. I'm assuming Corey was looking. As you were walking down the stairs, nothing really piqued your interest. And you start going down under the castle. And it's such a stark difference, you don't notice at first. Whereas the top stairs spiraling up were gold, the ones spiraling down are black. And it's very narrowly lit going down. And you can tell that the walls, it's almost like a cylinder around it going straight down with these stairs. And it looks like the walls are black, but it almost looks like there's gold ore weaving through it. It almost looks like it's just the natural earth that it was carved out of.
Well, we found the gold. Parts of it in its rawest form.
Yes. Yes, okay. Gold. And she's sort of looking around like, gold. I swear, if gold is all we find, and he is that cliche, I will wish dearly that I was a barbarian. Anyway, let's go. Moving on.
Xandra would like to rage.
Victor would like to rage.
Thank you very much.
Is it... What does it seem like it stops where we are right now, or does it go deeper?
You are still walking down the stairs. Okay. It's basically the opposite sensation of going up the stairs. It's almost like you haven't been walking down that long, but you're walking down forever, and you know you are.
Just keep walking, just keep walking. What do we do? We walk down into the dragon's lair.
If you didn't have those flippy coins, you would have inspiration for that. That was funny. And eventually, surprisingly enough, you reach the bottom. What? Wow. You made it to the bottom of the stairs.
Dang.
And it's almost like the room opens up. And as you're kind of like looking around, you can tell this would almost be a dungeon of sorts where it's just very rough stone. Nothing was perfectly carved out or anything like that. But the condition down here is still pristine. Like there's no dust, there's no dirt, there's no anything. And right in front of the stairs that you just came down, there's the room kind of is a cylinder to where you just walked in. And you see a door. And it has a tree on the door, and it's a round door. You can tell that it's made of metal. It's not anything special. It's just a very solid iron steel door, one of the two. And as you're looking at it, you see the tree on it. It has very rugged branches. And as you're looking around the room, it has some places for torches on the walls. That way you can lighten it up and it would be a little bit brighter. But as you look, you see a statue in the center of the room. And it's the form of a woman. And she kind of has her hand out like this. And you can see that her other hand is kind of like in the air like this. And it looks like there's water, like a little fountain coming out of her hand and pouring out of her other hand. And you can see that her hair is made of stone, but it's made to look like water flowing down her figure. And even the cloak that she's wearing, the very slim fitting dress, looks like it's made of water as well, but it's carved out of stone. Kore, you would know this to be Gali, the goddess of water.
Another goddess we come upon here. Eventually we'll relay this to Zandra and then gently rouse Ivo, because he would like to know that there is a tree on the door, even if it's strictly decorative purposes. He likes trees.
Oh, what? Oh, is that time over?
We went down the stairs. It was quite long. My legs hurt. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
We're in a dungeon now.
You know, when we're all done with this treasure hunt business, you should go try those beds. They are fantastic. That was one of the best nights I've had in probably 9 years. And you know, for me,
brought the
that's a
pillow
long
down
time.
for you. You can have another sleep like that. I know you need it.
Oh, we should all get sleep when we're done here. But first, special things, right?
Thanks.
Oh.
Since we're in a dungeon, question DM, is there anything in the way of shackles around?
Anything that looks like shackles?
Hmm.
There would be two chests on either side of the door that you just came into. And as you open them, there's like these very shiny new shackles. If somebody was to be led down, they can be chained and thrown into a prison.
I grabbed 2 of those because those can be very useful.
Okay, go ahead and put, I'm going to say 2 sets of shackles, but each of them have 10 feet of chain.
Nice.
So I know chain is something you can actually add to your character sheet because Lovitar had 50 foot of it.
Cool. 10 feet of chain each?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So looking around in this room, I see the tree. Is there anything similar to the one that was on Grendir's door?
You bastard. You were looking at it, and with your passive, you notice that this tree looks a little off. It doesn't look like a root is out of place. It looks like it's just roots. You can only see the trunk of the tree coming out from the ground and the roots fanning out at the top.
So it's upside down, or
Yes.
it's just so the trunk goes through the floor,
It
or does it
looks
end
like it
abruptly?
does. Are you up close inspecting it?
Yeah, absolutely.
You would see that there's like not even a quarter inch of play in between the ground and the door. And if you kind of like peek down, you can see that the trunk continues down into the floor, but it's flat against the door. So it's just the image of the tree on the door, but the door continues under.
Okay.
Let's try to figure out how to explain that.
This tree looks like it's upside down. Those up there are roots, and this here is the trunk. How
Indeed.
big is this tree?
The part of the door that you're seeing right now is about 8 feet tall. And it's a circle. And only half of it is above the ground. So in total, you can tell that this door is 16 feet tall. And it looks like it was set into the place that it is at right now.
Is there any mechanism that would suggest it can turn the right way up?
And so I was just
And
about to
Ivor,
ask, are there any...
does it seem like it's sort of in the same place, Ivor, that you found your bow, friend? Like, would the doors approximately match up?
As you inspect the roots, they are the same as the door upstairs, but none of them are moved in awkward angles.
Oh, the one I had downstairs was in the roots. There was one root that was off to the side that was out of place, and I had to grind and move that over, and then it sunk in and the door unlocked. This one looks a little bit different. There's nothing out of place as far as the root. The only thing odd is that it's upside down. But yes, is it feasible to reach up as a 3'4" puka and try to pull on something on one of the roots to see if it does indeed move?
You can try. And go ahead and give me a strength check while you do.
Okay.
This little puka.
Can we help him? Or will help you?
You can. So go ahead, both of you give me a strength check.
Okay, that was a 12 plus.
Oh, shocked. I was 18.
What was that?
17.
18.
And then 18. So, Ivo, you kind of jump up on the root. How do you do it? I'm going to let you explain it.
Is there anything on the side of this door, like a frame of any sort?
It looks like the door was placed in the natural stone of the mountain.
Got it.
So the roots themselves stick out just enough you could probably get your fingers on them.
Okay, and how high up am I trying to go with this?
If you jumped, you could reach one.
Okay, then I'll back up a few feet and kind of run and two-step parkour up and reach, and then put my other deal on, plant my feet up under it, and just start to crunch down.
Corey, how are you helping him?
Corey sees Ivor jump up to grab hold of the roots, and she's not a very strong individual in comparison to most. So what she does is she just reaches up at the farthest point of the root that she can reach to try and leverage the weight, like not the weight, but get the angle right so she can use the leverage and physics basically to try and pull it down as hard as she can.
As you both start yanking and pulling on this, you feel the door rotate just a little bit, and then it almost feels like it stops no matter how hard you two pull.
I think this is your special thing, Zandra. A little more help.
Absolutely, it's a special thing. If there's not something good behind this door, and Xandra will reach and just add a little bit of extra leverage. Oh, I'm not very good at these either.
I love how you were already rolling strength.
18.
I'm not good at these. 18. Great.
Oh, I'm not.
I'm glad we had this talk.
I have a -2.
Are you telling me that you rolled a natural 20 with a -2?
Yeah.
Darling,
Nice.
tell me it was a nat 20. Is nat 20 still a nat 20 even if you have a negative?
Sorry.
Diddly gosh
Sorry.
darn pickle squats. You reach up. How tall are you compared to Corey?
Xandra is 5'10", I believe.
She's 2 inches
I
taller.
think, yeah,
Okay.
just a little bit taller.
You reach the root. That's. You know what? You describe it. How do you help them turn this door?
Xandra will, after having another one of her little tantrum moments, will just sort of come up and just, as these two have been like struggling and trying to pull it down, trying to figure out that Xandra will just sort of come up with her vampire strength and just go here. And she'll just sort of like yank and make a motion that looks almost a little too easy for Ivo to be like happy with.
We saw the size chart. I was just clarifying. KJ. Diddly gosh darn pickle squats. So as you reach up and you pull, Ivo, your feet hit the ground. And you see that this entire tree, this 16-foot circle of a door, starts spinning. And you guys reach over and you spin it some more. You reach over and you spin it some more. And as you do, you see the trunk of the tree coming back up with all of the leaves coming out. And it looks like the top of the tree that was upstairs on the door. And as it gets perfectly straight up, it locks into place and stays there.
Is it a pull or a push?
You can try either one.
Corey knocks 3 times on the door out of politeness, then tries to pull, and then tries to push, depending on which one will work.
Does it give at all when Corey tries to push or pull?
Nope.
So does it seem to be locked or trapped in any way?
You almost felt something. Ivo, you've picked locks before. It felt like it unlocked when it went right side up. But you, even messing with the door upstairs, the thought that runs through your head is there's something like the root that needs to happen.
Corey goes over to the statue of the goddess to see if there's any inscription around it. Does the tree need water?
You walk up to the statue, and as you are looking over it, you see a light script on the top of her hand. You don't need to. It is perfectly clean. And as you read it, it simply states, for things to grow, they need water.
You see Corey go up to the fountain, cup her hands under where it's trickling off of the goddess's hands, and then carry it over to the tree and just lightly deposit it across the front of the door.
As you do that, you see the door shift a little bit, but that's all that happens.
Try a push or a pull again, and if it's still stuck, I'll bring water.
Give me an investigation check while you're walking back to the statue.
$15.
15. So as you are walking back to the statue, you see that the one hand like this that's spraying water almost out of her fingertips is facing towards the door.
Hmm.
But as you're watching, she still has her other hand up like this with water shooting out of the top.
What's it hitting? Going up to the top.
Nothing.
Or is it just sort of like, how a fountain sort of spurts up and then falls down?
That's exactly what it's doing. And she has a little basin right around the bottom of the statue that catches the water.
Is there any more inscription on the basin around the base or anything? Or does it look like it is movable or can
I was
rotate?
gonna say, is the basin movable?
As you are looking, the basin does not look like it moves.
Just drag the whole thing over.
Just you see the little puka just. It was that power nap.
The hand going the other way, is it pointing towards something?
It's almost just like a very casual, like almost like you're handing somebody something, but it's just the water.
Any containers or buckets or anything?
How tall is the statue?
No. The statue sits at about 6 foot tall total.
Can't trust
Orez just reaches just to see if there's anything sort of obstructing the water, just places her hand over the other goddess's hand where the water is spurting sort of upwards. Just to sort of feel if there's anything on there.
So you're feeling in the palm of the hand gesture?
Yeah, the palm of the hand.
As you are kind of feeling around, you feel the fingers move as you go over the hand. Not in like a humanoid fleshy way, but the stone moves.
This statue just grabbed me. Don't be alarmed.
It's not
Hands off.
It's not holding your hand. It just moved.
It's moving.
It got me. Grappled. What?
Crap. Is there anything else that happens?
Are you just feeling where the water is? Are you feeling the whole hand itself?
Yeah, the whole hand itself, to see if there's sort of like any inscription or any item that's sort of concealed in the palm of the hand type thing.
As you're kind of running your hand around it and you're checking the fingers and stuff, the fingers, every time you touch them, they close a little bit more.
Oh. I'll try and gently close them.
As you do, the hand closes and the water stops, and the hand that's facing this way shoots out more. And you see it hit the trunk of the tree and almost get sucked in. And you can almost see glowing tendrils of the water inside the tree trunk travel down to the roots. And as it does, you see the whole door shift back a little bit and then sink into the ground. And as soon as it goes deep enough, the ground shifts forward to cover the hole.
Tricky Skyrim door.
Skyrim door.
I guess we. It was so hard to open the door. I can't help but feel cautious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do we see there?
Does nothing? I'm assuming since silence, nothing's immediately happening after the door is open. Can we see through the doorway from where we are?
You can.
Or is it dark? We can?
Yep.
Okay, before we step in, Xandra will just sort of like keep her arms out. Hang on, that was entirely too tricky. I hate puzzles. Absolutely despise them. We should see if there's something else in here. And she'll sort of look around and try to take in the surroundings before she has everybody walk in.
This one's for Ivo real quick. Ivo, roll me a history check.
Oh, man. Okay, that's not too bad. It's a 19.
You remember those runes you saw on the faucet upstairs?
Yeah.
When the door was going down, the trunk, the branches, the roots glistened slightly with almost the same runes, but they weren't the same as the door went down. And being around so many magic users, you can deduce that it is some sort of magic. That was on the door itself. The door is now in the ground. Minor details.
So they were the same runic language then?
Yes. And you would, with that roll, I'll give you this much. With the way that they were written, you remember the language that was written outside in blood.
Yes.
It has the same look, but outside you can tell that it was meant to intimidate. Whereas in here, it's basically like the difference between printing your name and signing your name. The door outside was printing your name. In here, it is all perfect. There's no letter, anything out of place. It looks like a printer did it, but with character.
Do either one of you speak or read Draconic?
Yes.
Was it the what ability was it that lets you read everything?
The good question. I wasn't looking at my spells currently because I wasn't sure I could use anything. The one that lets me comprehend languages, I believe. For the duration, you understand the literal meaning of any spoken language that you hear. You also understand any written language that you see, but you must be touching the surface on which the words are written. It takes about 1 minute to read 1 page of text. This spell doesn't decode secret messages in a text or a glyph, such as an arcane sigil. That isn't part of a written language.
Out of habit, Xandra, I'll let you retcon this.
Okay.
But Ivo pointed out the sigils and the signs on the door kind of as it was going down, because that's when they started to glow.
Mm-hmm.
And as you subconsciously tapped into that magic to read it, you can't read it.
Mm-hmm.
What's it say, Sandra?
Well, this is a bit embarrassing. No one likes having performance issues, obviously. Remember that part where I said Lamra's not with me anymore and I've lost out on a lot of my fun little tricks? Funny thing, I used to be able to read literally anything, and I have no idea what that says.
Oh.
Well, that's a bit of a problem. It does match the runes that were upstairs on the water faucet thing, and it looks similar, a bit more pristine, maybe a little bit more care taken putting it here, but the letters out front in blood that brought Orez in, very similar to that.
Cora is going to step forward and sort of trace over what runes she can visibly see. And in her head, not even in her head, she's sort of muttering quietly to herself in Celestial. And she's going to say, "My Lady Lux, would you happen to know the language of dragons?"
You know that moment when the DM forgets that he literally gave you a goddess? Yeah, this is that moment. Well, when we ascend, we learn all languages. And Xandra and Ivo, you both see almost out of the body of Kore just this figure of light, almost face out of her face type thing, just steps out. Not even fully. It's almost like Kore leaned forward, but Kore is still standing there. Tilts
It's
her head.
giving Venom, Your Honor, but in like a majestic way.
Exactly.
But also, I love Venom, so no hate.
So do I. So do I. And as soon as she comes out, she just goes right back in. They are wards to make sure nobody gets in there. Quite powerful. Honestly, I don't know if even Niall could get in there.
So you heard that. We're not meant to get in there, therefore it should be where we go into.
That was
Yes.
just in your head, Corey. Because she went back inside of you before she answered.
She doesn't know they didn't hear that.
Fair enough.
Hear what, Corey, dear? Are you talking to yourself?
Oh, did they see Lux?
They did see her lean forward and then right back inside.
Very strong wards. We're not meant to go in there. She doesn't know if she can get in there, therefore we should go in there, yes?
That is where all of the good shit is. Absolutely. Finally! I was so worried they didn't have anything. Okay. Yes, we do need to be in there. However, did she say anything about what happens if you step in?
Cole doesn't say anything. It's just this expectant pause.
Oh, I don't know.
We don't know. We should find out.
We don't know. I love it.
Okay.
We are hope.
We are. Okay, well,
Hope
you
is
know what?
optimistic.
Given the fact that everything is going to hell in a handbasket, what could get much worse? You died not that long ago. Worst thing that's happened all day. So hopefully we can't get any worse than that. Other than all of us dying. Anyway, we shouldn't think about that. I think we should just go through and try to get to the good shit that he probably has behind this special door that was entirely too tricky to open. And I'm going to talk to him about that because I really can't stand puzzles.
As you're spouting this nonsense, the door finishes opening, and then that's when the piece of stone shifts over.
So, one at a time or all three at the same time?
I tell you what, seeing as how I'm the one who is the technically still hardest to kill, I will go first. Deal?
I mean, sure about that?
How wide is the door? Can we walk past it three abreast?
16 feet at the middle, and at the base, and 8 feet tall. So it's half circle that way.
We could all just step forward together.
Yeah, fair. Sort of a
One hand
if
one
we're all
hand to
going to
either.
die, we're always
Like
die
this.
together.
In 3, 2. Do we die?
As you all step through, it is the most grand thing you've ever seen in your life. You walk in, and it's a cavern. And just looking at this, you can guess that this cavern under here spans the entire island. And as you're looking around, it's all light and lit up, and you see houses, and you see roads, and you see people walking through these houses, and you see them just talking, and you see kids running across these grounds and playing and tossing stones at each other. And as you're looking, one of the kids that run past, it almost looks like they have hooves. And you see that they have horns on their head, and they're giggling, running past. And you see, Xandra, you see a centaur walking past, carrying a barrel over his shoulder. You see elves trading their fabrics with other people. You just see this massive community. And as you walk through this door, you look behind you, and all you see is the outline of the door. If you try to look on either side of it, all you see is the rest of the chasm and houses and cities just surrounding you. And that is where we will go to our break. Thank you all for tuning in. Hop back in here in 10 minutes and we shall continue. Hi. Welcome back to Be Diced, Legends of the Shattering. I'll do another real quick shout out to Matt. So tomorrow we are doing Dimensional Dial of Dr. Diago, and that will start at 8 p.m. because that was the time that I mixed up with tonight. Anyway, that'll start at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then we got Tales of Varden, which starts at 8 Eastern Standard Time, correct? Cool. And then we got Frontiers of Eberron that also starts at, I'm pretty sure, 8 Eastern Standard Time on Sunday. So tune into all the shows this week because this show will be continuing back to bi-weekly after this week. So we won't be back next week, but the week after that, sadly. But all of that being said, welcome back to your daily dose of trauma and drama. Party members, it's time to party. I'm here for it. It's a rave.
Looking around at all of this, does it seem real?
I was gonna ask the same thing, yeah.
You're gonna need to roll perception for that. You can give him the help action if you were gonna do the same thing, Corey.
That is a 21, my good sir DM.
21. As you are kind of looking around and trying to figure out if it's real, you see the door, you kind of like look past the door and there's nothing there. You look in the door and you see the hallway leading to the stairs, and you look outside the door and there's nothing there, and back inside, and then you see the spiral staircase going back upstairs with the statue of the lady with the fountain. It all looks very real.
What about the people in here? Yeah.
With your passive, I will tell you, you notice a presence sitting on top of the door. And as you look up and you're trying to figure out what's going on and if people are real, you see this kid sitting there, just swaying back and forth. You can see that he just has some messy white hair. His eyes are glowing slightly red. You can see he has this necklace that wraps around and goes down onto his chest, and it almost looks like a gear, but it's the print on the shirt that he's wearing, and you see that he has this jacket over top and he's just swaying, and you see from his elbows chains coming out, almost like they're under his skin, about 2 feet long. Out of both elbows, you see both of his arms are complete scar tissue, and he's just looking down at you, and you can see these black tendrils coming down from his eyes.
Oh, hello there. Who are you?
Oh, I'm Briar. Why are you here?
We're just looking around the castle. It was her idea. He points to Xandra.
Yes, we were in fact looking for the hoard of Jargentarth. You familiar with him?
Oh, I'm very familiar with him. And he's still like swaying, kicking his legs like a kid does.
I say, how long has everyone been here?
Quite some time. I've been here a couple 100 years now.
Oh. I see, and just out of curiosity, as we are new to this place, new to the island, new to the castle, What is this place called?
Well, we haven't quite figured out a name for it yet. I mean, these were the surface dwellers before Niall brought his horde and tried to take it all. Jargon basically risked his life to seal it down here, which is why he's so weak. Still kicking his legs.
See. So you are, in a sense, a sort of refugee camp from the war, then?
Well, I'm not. I'm just here. I can come and go as I please. I'm just helping Jargon out a little bit. He's fun.
Why
Everyone
are
gets
you
to
saying
come and
this?
go as they please.
What was that, Corey?
Corey asked why he's got chains.
Oh, I've been chained down a couple times. People don't really like me much.
Is that because of the...
And he kind of like looks at himself. Well, I don't know. You tell me. You're new. These people like me.
I wouldn't know. What have you done? What are you doing?
You see him tilt his head and look at you, and you just see this big grin on his face. Oh, is Lux in there?
Yes. Do you know her?
It's been ages.
Look, someone knows you. Would you like to come out? You can borrow me if you like.
Corey, read your DM.
I think she's resting at the moment.
He kind of like leans forward. She's always tired. People must not be believing in hope anymore. And he like kind of like leans up against the invisible wall behind him and stretches.
Yes, it's a shame that. I hope the other gods are faring somewhat better. And in a message, as she's leaning forward, sort of just idly, Sandra and Ivo, you hear, Lux says that's the god of calamity. That may be why he's chained. Be careful. He's adorable in this form, though.
God of
And she's just still
calamity,
smiling.
you say?
I guess
No.
Master can respond back. Never mind, go ahead.
They can respond.
Yeah, I was
It's
just
a
gonna
message.
make that Xandra didn't just start talking out loud.
So, tell me, how does a god of calamity end up down here with Jargon? I'm terribly curious.
Well, that's a good question. And you see him kind of shimmy a little bit and drop off the top of this doorway. And as his bare feet hit the ground, you see the ground crack. And he just, hands on his head, just starts walking past you guys. Well, like I said, I simply helped him in his time of need. And he starts walking down this. You can almost tell that it's like a well beat trail.
He's
going
being
down.
intentionally vague, isn't he?
I would say so, yes. Yes. And given the
And that was
fact
at
that
the end.
if he is in fact a god of calamity, I'm going to say vague is not necessarily a good sign from him. It's not go wandering into any pitfalls left by this little menacing creature.
Well, if
But
he was able to be chained, that suggests that his power is also sort of waned. Pity.
Not true. There's a reason they're broken.
How's the followers down here?
How's the what down here?
Followers, belief. Fun and chaos, hand in hand.
Oh, they don't follow me. See, I'm not quite like all the other gods. I don't need followers to survive. There's a reason why time died and Lux grows weak. Kalma is quite powerful as usual, but it's to be expected by the Deathless. Don't even get me started on the Revenant Queen. She tried to seal me away twice.
God of Calamity. You're not responsible for what's going on right now, are you?
You mean this calamity?
The approaching doom and shattering that everyone's talking about.
He stops walking and kind of like spins around on a heel and plants his other foot. And as he does, the ground cracks a little bit again. This isn't my style of calamity. I would think you would know that if you read up on your history. Turns around and starts walking down the hill again.
I don't really read much.
Do they have books about us anymore? I mean, I assume if some of the gods and goddesses are dying, there's a reason for that, so maybe they burnt the books. They tried to do that once, but didn't think it was going to work.
DM question, do they have books anymore?
Mm-hmm.
You haven't found a book on the gods other than one that your mom keeps in your home. And even then, she wouldn't let you touch it much. It was in that locked cabinet that Ivo got a book out of.
It's okay. It's okay. I have a goddess now. Word of mouth? Common folk tales. Publishing's not so much. More's a pity.
Makes sense why they're all dying then. How do I put this? It's not me. And it's not another god of calamity, because I killed all the other ones. It's just darkness. It just is. Calamities you can restore from and repopulate, and then we can start calamities again. That's the point of calamities. It's to reboot civilization. It's to help destroy the corrupted, and he kind of gestures around, almost like a kid trying to point at something. Like this. This is... Do you see any separation? Do you see any judging? And he kind of like stops and slumps down a little bit. I was about to reform this world before this darkness came. Things were getting too bad. Everybody was too divided. Now this darkness comes. So I help where I can. And this is where I can. You see, a god of calamity isn't really good at building things. But he is powerful, and he can protect when he needs to. And you see a very serious face just flash across that just shows from the child's face to somebody who has known pain unmeasured, and then back to the kid's face, and he's smiling with his arms back up, walking down this path.
Is he being quite genuine with his intent to help?
With your insight of 19, yes. Everything that he has said was 100% truth.
Well, I suppose he does have a point, but there is a time and a place for everything, and all that is why balance exists. And this darkness is sort of creeping and tipping the balance, so it's not very balanced anymore. Hence why we're here.
Yes.
Yes.
So we're here, and everything is in chaos.
So why are you here?
Well,
Don't tell me. Are you here for the Horde?
did I or did I not state that after we walked through the door?
I get excited about these things. Fine, I won't show you. Turns around.
No, wait.
No, it's too late.
Wait.
Old people drive me nuts.
He called you old.
Corey.
No one does that to your face other than that elven gentleman. I hope he's alright.
And how
You know.
old are you, I might ask, given that you are a god?
He does
I'm
the
1,000
same.
years young.
He does that same spin on the heel thing. Walks over.
Guess what?
I was one of the first gods born with Ioza's power to stop Kai's. But as you can see, that didn't happen because I wasn't strong enough. And he has that same look of seriousness and pain. And as soon as he finishes his sentence, it goes right back to that genuine grin, and he turns around and keeps walking.
Well, all I translated that as was you're old as dirt.
At least I didn't die once already.
It's part of the process. Anyway, hold. We
You
are
see
here
him
for the hold.
stop, and he mumbles something. Then he keeps walking.
We have managed to catch what he mumbled.
If you want to roll for it, you can.
Yes, we do. I've got vampire ears, dude.
Oh, yeah, you do have vampires.
Do.
There's a...
Hearing.
What are we rolling?
Was that Ivo?
I said I do have keen hearing and smell.
At least you can hear. What do you say?
You all hear him when he stops and he kind of mumbles, well, I guess I did technically die too, but she doesn't need to know that. And he keeps walking.
Xandra's eyes will just squint, and she just sort of like is doing like this angry march following where he's going.
So you're all just following him? So as you're following him, you see him, he still elbows up, chains dangling. He's just walking. You see Corey, you would know. I guess Xandra, you would too. I'm not sure if Iva would. You can tell me. You see this little satyr kid run and jump, grab onto one of his chains, swing and let go, and just start giggling as they run past. And then like a centaur is walking and he steps to the side and the centaur walks past and he steps back over and keeps walking with the same pep in his step. And as you're walking, it's very... The first houses you see are very makeshift with just some of the materials that they were able to gather from what you can assume was down here. And as you work your way in more and more, you see the houses start turning into stone structures and stone blocks. And you can see that they were crudely cut. So they're not perfect or anything, and you can tell that they took mud and they sealed in so it wouldn't get cold and stuff like that. And you just see as you work your way and you follow Briar, you see just the population grow, and you just hear the merriment of the laughing, the singing. You can see a pub that's open, but you can tell that it's not an indoors tavern or anything. There's just tables out and there's a bar. And you can tell that there's this big orc that's sliding down mugs, and you can see a centaur carrying them and giving them to all of these people. Just very lively and very welcoming. And as you are all walking, you're getting hellos, and you see kids run up past Ivo and are like measuring themselves up to him, and then giggle and then run past. And you see... Xandra, you see a centaur that looks vaguely like Dane, but walks past you without any recognition. Corey, you see Tabaxi and some elves and even some drow down here as you are following Briar.
I can't imagine this is the work of someone who would willingly sacrifice us to now, unless this is what he stood to lose.
Agreed. Well, I'll say I never doubted him for a second. And she looks down at Ivo with a sort of cheeky grin on her face.
Do I believe her?
Roll an insight check. Xandra, roll deception.
Inside.
Oh my word. And then Corey's over there like, oh, she's totally bullshitting right now.
22.
27.
Yep, you believe her 100% without a doubt in your mind.
Just for a second go, wait, yeah, she trusts dragons, why not?
Wait, what do you call it? The what side eye?
Bombastic side-eye. Criminal
Real
offensive side-eye.
offensive side eye.
Oh, I love it.
No, I think indeed that if this is what he's been protecting this entire time, I'm not entirely sure anymore who was playing who. It was a complicated game, clearly. Do you think that they're from before? She sort of is passing by and looking around. Briar says they're not refugees, but if they're not that, then they didn't originally live down here to begin with. This is what's left. This is what was left from the Shattering.
The information DM given a couple episodes ago of Jargon bringing people back.
Mm-hmm.
That was something that everyone heard, correct? If this is what was before, shouldn't they all look like Orez?
If it's not from what before, then why are they down here?
He did say they originally lived on the surface.
Maybe he
And
did
look-
this first,
Hmm.
and then
Before the
deal-
darkness came.
Yeah, with the whole deal with Orez happened second.
Hmm.
I'm not sure. You there? And he's gonna call over to the God of Calamity.
He stops. I have a name.
I'm sorry, I don't have a very good memory.
Briar.
Briar.
Like the thorns. Because I'm a thorn in people's sight. I don't know why they gave me that name, but they did.
And I'll
Fine.
try to remember that. And honestly, you find the best berries in the thickest briars.
I knew I liked you. You're a little bit shorter, but that's perfectly fine. I like short people.
Coincidence, I don't really like tall people, so...
You kind of like lean in a little bit. Wait, are you serious? If you met Kelma, you would hate tall people. She's terrifying. She's literally the goddess of death.
It's probably because she's tall that makes her so terrible. If she was
Honestly,
shorter,
probably.
she might be nicer.
I honestly don't know if there is other short gods. I mean, all of the gods of calamity, they were like anywhere between 7 and like 15 feet tall. Like those laughing horrors that are chasing all of you.
He was going to get a little bit more serious because for a moment he forgot that was actually going on.
Is that a touchy subject? I didn't mean to.
No, I just forgot myself and what we're dealing with. This is all intriguing, and it's actually taken my mind off of being hunted. That's the first time in a very long time that I've actually been able to feel like I could breathe. So, you said these people lived on the surface before.
That they did?
Jargentarth told us of a terrible thing, a massacre of people, and how he brought them back. Are these These can't be the same people, are they?
That is a story for sure. And I will tell you once we get to, and he kind of like looks around, this populated area. And you see that stern expression again, but this time it doesn't switch as he turns around and starts walking.
We follow. Just head on rotate, just so many things. Looking at them. It's very interesting.
Sorry, I'm getting DMs. As you follow him, you're still bobbing and weaving through people. It's a lot of people, but it's not so much that it's too many, if that makes sense. Like, it's a very, to the amount of houses, it's an appropriate number. You can tell that it's almost like they dig and expand more as the population grows.
There's a lot of like natural races here, correct? Like satyrs and centaurs and things. Corey, you'll notice that you've been to cities before with like a lot of humans and elves and things like that. And usually his scruff kind of goes up, his ears pin back, and he's kind of a little bit more on edge and tense. In this crowd, considering the amount of population, he looks body language wise more relaxed and not shying away from population like he usually does. And whether it's like completely subconscious or not, it's happening.
These are people of the woods. And Feywild folk. You're not as scruffy as you normally are here. It's nice.
Well, yeah, they might be taller than I'm used to, but there's a part of them that's, like you said, connected to something more natural, to the woods. I've never met any of these people, but I feel more at home than I have in a long time. All right.
As you're still kind of following and moving forward, you realize that Briar isn't in front of you anymore.
Corey looks up to see if he's gone off to the rooftops or whatever it is he gets up to.
As you're looking around, Ivo, he is to your right, walking side by side with you.
Do you want a ruby to make it crisp?
He is watching you with a very curious gaze, almost intense. He's still alive.
Who?
Your dad. He's still alive.
Right. Yeah, my dad. That's good to hear. You see him often?
I can't leave here because I guard the inside and Jargon guards the out. But yes, I have. I am where calamity strikes. And let me tell you, he causes calamity denial every time he kills one of his horrors.
No. That's a dad you can be proud of, I suppose.
And you're a son he could be proud of. And he walks past.
He was not quite sure how to feel. This is still a little bit of a tender subject. He's accepted that they had to do something for a particular reason. He's trying his best to trust them in their reasons, but there is still some of that hesitancy of what am I going to do if and when I see them? Will my desire to see them over the years kick in and forget everything that they've done? Or will the resentment surface, and will that barrier between them come up? He's not quite sure which one is going to surface. And he's proud that his dad is taking care of things, that he's doing his best, and especially at the words of giving Niall a hard time. Like, that's, yes, Niall is a big old duty head and he needs all of his stuff taken away from him. But at the same time, there's something that was deep down inside that says, I wish they would have stayed instead and let the world burn. Because of that selfish part of himself, I should have had that time. Instead, he's giving it to these horrors. But continue to move on as...
No, you're fine. I live for these moments. I live for these moments. I might add to this, if that's okay, Chris. Corey, you've known Ivo long enough, not to mention you're 19 on insight. You could probably pick out his mopey demeanor.
Without saying a word, Cora just scoops him up and keeps walking and gives him a scritch behind his left ear.
Leg starts going. I love it. You get to the outside of this. It's too big to be a town, but not quite big enough to be a city. As you get to the outskirts, you see almost the same door frame that was back where you came in, where you see nothing behind it, and it's right in the middle of a town square. And you see Briar walk up to it, and it doesn't have a tree on it. You see chains carved into this door. Bless you. In almost like just like on his chest, how it looks like it's a gear. It's the same thing on this door, but with chains. And you see him walk up and put his hand dead center on it, spin it, and you see it start spinning so fast you can't make out anything. He stops it, and he slides it down, and you see the door slide open. And he walks through.
We follow. We've been following. We keep following.
And as you walk in, you walk into shadow. And as you walk in, you see Briar swipe his hand. And as he does, all of the shadow slides over to the side wall. And you see in front of you treasure chests. And you look off to the side and you see beds lined up. 3 currently. And as you're looking around, you see a little spigot with a placement with a tea kettle on top of it. And Ivo looks just like the spigot that was up in the castle. And as you're looking around and taking everything in, not only the treasure chests that are piled up against the far wall, or the gold that you can see, or weapons that you see lined up on the wall. You see Briar stop. He told me to set up for 3, so I set up for 3. You can rest here, and I know he said that you could rest up there, but Niall's a little complicated. After he killed time, things got different. He still can't make it through my magic, but he can make it through Jargon's.
Has
So
he
that's-
only recently killed time? Jargon has showed me that the castle would be safe, and then it wasn't.
Gods are on different levels than dragons. I had to make sure time was dead before I told him, but I couldn't.
Hmm.
The reason why Ivo... It's 4 days left now, isn't it?
That's what I'm told, but I think we can turn that into a few more.
You see his face is still the deadpan serious. Ivo, the reason you only had 7 days left is because you killed time and decided your time. And you see Briar kind of sit on his heels, almost like ready to pounce, but just sitting there. When one controls time, they control everything. They control people. They control when they die. They control when they live. They control what era is here. That's why Kelma kept such an eye on time. Because time could make deaths unnatural, and Kelma hates that. I am natural. I am calamity. I am earthquakes. I am tsunamis. I am the destruction of worlds. But literally turning the clock on somebody's life before it is their time is unnatural.
So I really only have 3 more days after tonight.
Unless somehow we can rip time off of Niall. Us gods aren't as close as we used to be. We used to be all happy, happy, joy, joy, and parties like out there. They slowly fell apart from each other. There's a reason why they called it they call it the Shattered Pantheon now. Only the originals, the firsts, still remain loyal to Iosa. May, Kelma, Revenant Queen. She doesn't like me much. Honestly, I'm not even sure about the Goddess of War or Blood anymore. And they're some of the most powerful. Honestly, the Goddess of War could probably stand against Niall by herself. If I wasn't watching these people, I would cause him the biggest calamity he's ever known.
We got hope back from him, albeit with the help of one of the Reapers.
The Wanderer.
Surely we can find a way to get time back.
Well, if we could buy time, we'd be pretty set. And he points back at the treasure. But you can't exactly buy time. That was supposed to be funny. I was trying to make dire situations. Timing. Kelma told me timing.
It was good. I appreciated that. It was good.
It really was. You're doing a good job.
I'm trying. They said I need to have more of a personality instead of just running around blowing things up. Why don't you all get some rest? And I can tell you a story of things that weren't in your books. The story of what really happened. The story of why we are here today and why darkness is seeming to reign over all.
Cora, in preparation, places the pillow that she brought for Ivo on one of her beds and just pats it for him. Bedtime story. As fitting as any.
Ivo, are you resisting? You're resisting sleep?
Don't sit on it yet. It's there when you're ready. You're not ready.
He literally just snuggled in.
I did, honestly.
It's okay, I'll wake you up. If you fail, I'll wake you up.
Do you want the story now, or do you want it after you rest? You look like you've seen some things.
More food for thought.
I missed both of that.
It's up to you. Zandra looks pretty beat up. She could use some rest.
Indeed, but I don't sleep, if you remember. I just sort of hang out. So, resting for me and listening to him are essentially going to be one and the same.
Now that's cool. I wish I could sleep. I lost that.
So, do you watch us sleep then? If you just hang out?
Well, no, that would be very creepy.
You hear
that? That would be very creepy.
You hear Briar like snickering at this entire conversation.
Go for walks. Lots of walks. I stare at ceilings. Stare at stars. Read a lot. You know, that kind of thing.
I saw that face, Chris. You're like, oh yes.
She stares at everything except people.
Oh no, I don't glance at you while you're sleeping. What are you talking about? You see Briar sit crisscrossed applesauce on the ground. And he kind of starts doing that lean back and forth thing that he did when you first saw him. Well, you see, there was, I guess it's a thing called the Creator. He is what created all of this, everything. Every atom, every civilization, every race. And he blessed us with his power. Gave us magic. He let magic be born and let us wield it to the extent he did. One day, people started to get greedy, wanted the power to themselves, and thus banded together to seal away the Creator. I was one of the ones that tried to defend. But even then, what can a 10-year-old kid do? And you see just this stone cold expression on his face. There was only a few of us. I think me and Kelma are the only two from back then. We both died trying to save the Creator. They didn't realize that the Creator was so powerful that they actually had to split him in half to seal him away properly. And unknowingly separated good from evil. Because for a being to create everything, he needs to have a little bit of both. They successfully sealed away Ioza, who is good, and Kai's, who is evil. They used almost all of their magic on Ioza, which means that their reserve was dwindling when they were trying to seal Kai's. So the prison was imperfect, which also means he had more of a hand on this world than Ioza did. The tiny speck of power Ioza was able to get out of her prison brought me back. She figured if creation was going to be bad, destroy it. So she could restart and it would be good. Kai's already had an army at that point. And what can Calamity do? Against a power like that? A little something the world doesn't know. Actually, I think you guys are the first that have ever told this. The sheer magic it took to split the Creator's essence into two. It made a third being that wasn't sealed away. Ioza called him the Void. But what I know of him, he's not what's causing this, which is what boggles my mind. Slowly, the war between Ioza and Kai's kept going and going and going. More gods were born on both sides. The Revenant Queen was born. Lux was born. Time was born. All faithful followers of Ioza before they fell. When they fell, they were granted power over things they could manipulate before they fell. The Revenant Queen being magic. Lux being hope and light. Time's name escapes me. Honestly, I think it's because they wiped it. You know, when you can control time, you can do things like that. Which is why Ioza put me in charge of protecting time. But when I saw the need of those people out there, I thought time could hold out for a little bit. I didn't want the same calamity to fall on them that fell on hundreds of thousands of millions of people over and over and over again. Jargon saved most of them. He asked me to stay down here and protect them. Niall tried to make it in. Without time, he didn't stand a chance. It took him a while, but he got time. So now while we're rushing and trying to figure out how to stop him and how to bring Iosa back, to bring things to balance, the one man, the one thing that threatens us literally has all the time in the world. Sorry, I'm rambling at this point, and you see him kind of break into a little bit of a shy grin. I get like that sometimes, dark and moody and depresso espresso. I don't like it. Do you have any questions?
Where was time? Is that something we know? How could Niall have gotten to her?
Time is everywhere and nowhere at once. But she was protecting her daughter from before she was time. She would control time so she could live as long as she did. Niall found her daughter and thus had time trapped.
He does that, doesn't he, Sandra? He takes people's weaknesses and then uses it against them.
Yes. He is, that's a good way to put it. Predatory in nature.
It's why he went after you, Corey. When you have a group like yours, you find the cornerstone, you destroy the cornerstone, and eventually they all topple.
I want him dead.
We all did.
Well, I think you deserve a favor. The final blow, Sandra.
I would love to have that opportunity, but after our little tussle with him, and I came so close and did not succeed, I guess I will much rather prioritize his death over its delivery.
I changed my mind. I do think death would be a kindness. Eternal torment sounds bitter. Yes, I think so.
Now you sound like Kelma. I can see the resemblance. Though I think you lean more towards the Revenant Queen with the magic you wield.
My family spoke of her. In brief, I never met her. What did you say the creator's name was? Before he split. They split. It split.
I call him an it. It works better. I mean, they're not around anymore to yell at us, so it. When they were joined, they were Iosakais.
I've never heard that name anywhere else, except once. When my mother spoke of it, she told me the story of the creator. She only slipped with the name one time, and I had never seen her so sad. And you never see her emote much of anything, quite frankly, but no, just for once. And then I could never find anything to do with that name again. Until recently.
Your mother knew the name Iyozakai's.
Mm-hmm. She knows a lot of things. I wasn't too surprised.
Well, I am. As far as I know, the only two people that should know that name is me and Kilma. Even the Revenant Queen wasn't born yet. I'm going to have to go visit her when this is over. Don't worry, I
No.
won't cause calamity.
Knowledge is a well that runs deep, I suppose. More than one person can dip into it.
Some dip more than others. It's kind of like when somebody double dips, it's disgusting.
Wow. Do we know what has happened to the Void since?
It's
If
the
they're
void.
not the cause of this.
Nobody knows. But the void has a very, very distinct magic that cannot be forgotten and cannot be it just can't. There's no really describing it. I've only
It's
ever seen...
overwhelming.
He nods vigorously.
It's a very overwhelming presence, the void.
He has nothing to do with it. No, I wouldn't be surprised if he had something running in the background. I mean, if I remember correctly, I think Niall claimed to be the void once or twice.
He did claim that, but he's always been obsessed with status. No, someone I knew very closely once upon a time, it's been a long time, knew the void much, much better.
Do you speak of Dane?
Why would you know my Dane?
I told you, darling. I am where Calamity is.
Hmm.
And when Dane saved you, that was some good calamity.
Dane was very strong. Is very strong, probably. But changed. How do you know that the void has nothing to do with now? Niall's never been strong without him. Are you suggesting that Niall no longer needs him?
I mean, he does have time. Maybe he used him long enough to get power of his own enough to challenge.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know how he's absorbing the powers of the gods, but if he can, he will. And he's going to slowly pick each one of us off until he is the creator himself.
That just reminds Kore. And she thinks in her head, Lux, when he took you, what happened? Where did you go?
I don't know. Everything was dark. I felt like 100 hands were dragging me down into black nothingness. To an expanse of shadow no light could penetrate.
Lux doesn't know where he took her either. Again, nothing but bad darkness. In 100 hands. It's always a grabbing hand, isn't it? It's very disconcerting. Oh. Sorry, we don't have anything more useful than that.
You see Briar crack his neck, stretches, and you hear all of the bones in his body just cracking and popping. He makes fists and all the knuckles pop. You know, I really want him to take me. Oh, I would love to see him try, the bastard. I might not be at my full strength, but I could still whoop his ass. You should all rest. You have learned a lot today. And you've done a lot today. I mean, dying takes a lot out of you.
Shockingly, it does. You'd think it wouldn't, considering you do nothing.
I mean, trust me, I've done it. And then he
Ah, so we did hear right.
No. Damn it. Okay, so what? I died once. Or twice. You should sleep. I'm going to close this door. And let me tell you, as the god of calamity, I'm more powerful than Jargon. You're not sealed here. You're not trapped here. If you want, you just knock 3 times. I'll open the door. I almost opened it for you, but I didn't know. It was polite. I
Polite. See? Being polite and knocking gets you so many places.
Next time we need to come up with like a code knock. That way, like...
We'll sleep on that. That'll be smart. We'll do that. Scoot over.
Is Briar gone?
No.
Evo's gonna make eye contact with Xandra best he can, and kind of.
Xandra will do her best to recognize, but not be too obvious, and kind of go.
He's gonna get off the bed and kind of go over.
Xandra will sort of lean down.
You asked us to help you find a shadow dragon. We didn't find a shadow dragon, but we did find a god. You might ask him to borrow something.
Oh, not him.
All right.
Calamity. It hasn't even crossed my mind. I'd much rather have shadow dragon powers.
Well,
You
I'm sure.
want me to work with? He called me old.
I
He called it. Look at my face.
Yes.
My
all right.
beautiful face.
Absolutely beautiful. Perfect. You know, not a wrinkle on it. Beautiful.
Of course not. It's undead.
Corey.
My face will look like this forever.
That's the
All
only
I'm
good
saying
thing about it.
Is maybe just a temporary loan, so you're not completely squishy. Just a thought.
Squishy.
Go for a walk. Maybe you'll find something magic. It's a magical
Cool
place.
toy.
Just a thought. I mean, you don't have to take my advice or anything like that. I just
you
thought
lay
it's an
down
option.
and go to sleep. You lay down and go to sleep.
Right.
See about this. Is fine.
And she'll just sort of stand up and sort of like cross her arms and be shuffling a little bit and looking down her feet.
We go sleep.
Bry. If I can call you Bry.
Oh.
You don't like being called Bry for short?
It's
Briar.
cute as a nickname.
Right.
Can I call you Callie?
No.
No. We're off to a wonderful start. Anyway, might go for a walk.
You don't just want to talk about what you want to talk about here? They're already sleeping. They're sleeping on the magical pillow.
Fair enough. I told them I wasn't creepy. Didn't watch them sleep. This is a bit invasive.
I watch
Usually leave all my...
all the time.
Well, that makes you creepy.
That's fine. I'm the god of calamity.
What's that got to do with being creepy?
I don't know.
I really don't think you understand how you're the god of calamity. I don't really get this whole persona. I don't know if
You
you've
want
been
to
working
take my
on it for a
place.
long time.
Because I'd gladly just go die again. You can go right ahead and fuck off with these powers.
Absolutely not. Calamity, there's way cooler gods than that. I'd much rather be someone else. Anyway.
You had a question for me.
It's more like a idea. And to be fair,
You're looking
I don't
down.
like-
He's like a foot taller than Ivo.
don't particularly like it any more than you will, but I'm in a bit of a pickle. I've lost my connection to Lamra. Completely. I was intending to find Jargon, but seeing as how we're now down here and there's much to do, I don't know exactly how quickly or if I can find Jargon again, unless you have a way of getting a hold of him. Seeing as how I'm in a pickle, and seeing as how technically you are one ladder rung above anything Jargon will be able to do, might you lend me a hand?
Oh, yes, of course.
That's
That-
it.
That's what I would say if you said that I was one of the cooler gods, but you said that you know other cooler gods. And he turns around and walks out the door.
Ivo's going to be furious with me when he wakes up.
As he stops at the door, there is someone else that's waiting for you. And he walks out.
Sandra will sort of cock her head and turn on her heel towards the door.
Please don't let this suddenly become a bad day.
And
You watch him, and as he steps out, he just does this motion behind him, and the door shoots up, shuts, spins, and you hear it latch.
Sandra, it will latch right in her face.
That was incredibly rude.
Fine.
Talk to them later.
Sandra will turn around and sort of peer around at the room. And remind me what's in the room again? There's beds, but wasn't there also some different furniture pieces of a certain
There is
item carrying variety?
treasure chests on the other side of the room.
Fabulous. Xandra will sort of shake off that little encounter. Patron to the god of calamity. And she'll just sort of saunter over and she will start messing with the first chest that she sees, and she's going to find out if it's locked or not.
It's not locked.
Okay, Xandra will start opening up the chest, and she's just going to start peering through. And not in any particularly respectable fashion is she going to start like just pulling out things that she finds, looking at them, and either putting them aside or tossing them or putting them back in. There's no real rhyme or reason to the way she's sort of sifting through stuff.
As you're kind of like sifting through and you're throwing things out, you're throwing empty vials out, you're throwing gold out, gemstones, and you get to the bottom of the first chest and it's empty.
Xander's been sort of just peering through. It's like, well, that's completely useless. This is a bunch of junk and nothing arcane about any of this.
I have seen more peddlers do this, and I was like, none of it's real.
And she sort of scoots that chest out of the way, and she scoots the next one in front of her. She just sort of goes through the same process again. She opens up that chest and she's just going to start pilfering through crap.
I'm going to make the call because you don't sleep. Ivo and Corey, you guys literally wake up to Xandra sifting through all of this treasure.
Empty-handed. Still.
How much time has passed?
8 hours.
Okay, just checking. Xandra will be
You
like
all
on
have
her
successfully gotten
on
along.
street. Xandra will be crisscross applesauce on the floor again, and you can tell that her hair is actually a little bit like all over the place in a way, and like her jacket's all kind of like crooked, and she's clearly been like digging around and not knowing like kind of where about all the, and there's all these piles everywhere, and you realize that she's just sort of sitting there cursing, looking at another thing, tossing it behind her, looking at another thing, tossing it behind her. This is some of the most mediocre arcane artifacts I have seen in a long time. If he calls this a hoard, he has lost his bloody mind. He's a collector junk of trinkets, of nonsense. None of this is useful. None
He's
of
not
it.
gems scattered around. DM.
Hmm?
What was in the chest? It was like gems and stuff.
Yeah, gems, coins, empty vials that you could have thought was potions, stuff like that.
Right, junk, Corey says as she starts picking up gems to use as spell components.
Facts right there.
Empty vials, yes, very not useful at all, but very good for potions, actually.
Exactly, Corey. Not useful at all. Not in any way, shape, or form the things that I'm looking for.
Not arcane.
I can't do
Yes.
anything with any of this.
Well, to be fair, we can't do much of anything at the moment. That's what we're trying to get around, isn't it?
Yes, but I need something. Oh, surely you've been. It's like when you're thrifting or antiquing and you're looking for that thing with a certain je ne sais quoi. It needs like an it factor. None of this. You know how many places I can pick up gems like these? Vials like these? Please.
Yes, but they're free, and they're here now. So I will take them off your hands, so then we can get some use out of them, even if they're not quite magical yet. Give me some time, a few enchantments, it'll be fine.
You're
Fine.
complaining about the amount of stuff that's here. There's a whole town, city out there.
Yes, well, he.
It takes
Close
a
the
lot
door.
of money to run a town. Do you think some of the hoard is being circulated out there?
Perhaps.
Then maybe there's a shop that has
Perhaps.
what you need out there.
That's actually not a half bad idea.
Maybe he has a secret hoard.
And
A
there
hoard
could
for
be a
hoard.
secondary chamber, exactly. There could be more.
I'm
Right.
tired of looking for his hoards. Are you kidding me?
Corey, give me a perception check. Ivo, you as well.
Eight.
You said 8?
8.
13.
Okay.
That was a bad roll.
Ivo, we'll use your passive.
You don't have to.
No,
The
we're
dice
going
have spoken.
But you also have a passive. I like to play it that if your passive actually makes the DC, I'll just use that. But sometimes you can roll better than your passive does.
You were looking for stuff and none of it was useful, but there's something in the corner of your eye.
Exactly. How'd you know? No, but actually, like you're kind of like looking at everything that Xandra just pulled out and stuff. And you notice something in the chest that she toppled over. And as you go and you start to inspect it, there's a false bottom.
Put my finger in and kind of lift it over to one side.
As you kind of like lift it and you slide it over, there is a sword sheathed.
I think I found that. What did you say it? Je ne
C'est quoi?
sais quoi, whatever that means. I think I found it.
It's French. Language from a different dimension.
Right.
Love it.
Something like Sylvan, or
Oh, it's something like Sylvan, not at all, but sure, we'll go with that for now.
Iva, do you pull it out?
I kind of pull it out and hand it over. I'm not interested in a sword, but she's looking for something special. This might be it.
Jenner will sort of take the sword and look it over. Where the heck was this in there? I dumped it upside down.
You've got to try. There's a lot of false bottoms in these things. People like to hide things. If you're checking cabinets, that's where they keep their cookies, especially the really nice ones that are made with almonds. People usually keep those in false cabinets. So once you clear everything else out of the way, you've got to make doubly sure that there's not a pin somewhere. And then there's something else in there.
I told you that I hate puzzles, right?
Right.
I hate puzzles. Anyway, so she'll start, like, unsheath it, take a look at it, and she's just gonna kind of like overall inspect it and see what she can pick up on it as far as qualities of the sword go.
As you are looking at this sword, let's see here. You kind of pulled it out of its sheath, and as you did, this really bright neon red blade starts to form as you're pulling it out. And at the full length, it almost looks like, common term, lightsaber sword. But as you're looking at it, you see red flickering around it, and you see it's almost like wisps of this red coming off, not fire, but almost like a vibrant, condensed torch almost, but you can tell it's not fire. And as you're looking at it, Corey, you would know that this sword is called Nepenthe.
Nepenthe. I know that name. Why do I know that name? I've heard that.
It is one of a few swords that have sentience to it.
Oh. It's a sentient sword.
You
It's like you, Chris.
would know that it was used to behead criminals.
Sentient sword of a dark history. Well, not so dark if it was carrying out justice, unless that justice was not actually well deserved. Anyways, has beheaded criminals in the past.
That is a lovely backstory. This is what I'm talking about. Do you know how much I could sell this for? I'm not going to. She looks right at Ivo. But this is what I'm talking about. This is special. And can Xandra, by looking at it and with her history and her elven education and all of that stuff, pick up any specific magical qualities just looking at it, like what kind of magic it is?
Radiant.
Radiant magic. This actually is incredibly useful. It's not exactly what I was expecting. Expecting something a little bit more of the, I don't know, shield or ward variety, but as it stands, my packed weapon being almost useless to me, this actually will be a rather nice replacement. Bit clunky compared to the grace of my rapier, but yeah, we'll make do. We will make do. Is there any way that Xandra can interact with the sentient aspect of the sword without having her connection to Lamra?
No.
Okay.
I will pause you there anyway, because I think we have like 2 minutes left for Dia. Dia, roll me a percentile dice real quick. You too, Iva.
$82.
32 and 45?
82.
82 and 4. Huh. Okay. Okay. Corey, roll me a d4.
3.
Okay. This is what we're doing.
What I get?
As you're kind of like shuffling through stuff that Xandra threw, you see a platinum scarf that's almost like a silk. And as you pick it up, you can feel the magic from it, but you haven't heard of this before.
Am I able to discern anything else from it if I were to just drape it over myself?
As you drape it over yourself, you see that it's not silk. And as you're looking at it closer, you see that it's actually platinum scales. And you can add the wondrous item, platinum scarf, to your inventory. Xandra, you can add Nepenthe to yours, or I can help you with it. It's spelled weird. Ivo, what did you say your roll was again?
45.
Roll me a d4. As Xandra's throwing things, going through chests and stuff, you get hit in the face with a belt. That is massive. You can tell that somebody taller than everybody here would wear it. You can add the belt of fire giant strength to your inventory.
What do you mean junk, Sandra? You completely missed these. Look how lovely. You're muted.
Whoops. Oh, the scarf.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's not a bad piece, I suppose. I have a much more interesting cape at the shop.
Still magic. That will do nicely until I can read my book. Because that will take a while.
A really long time.
It's going to be a while.
While
Ivo, as you're putting on this belt and you snap it and you're looking down at it, you see this little wooden bowl. I see that laugh. You see this little wooden bowl sitting between your legs with a stone smasher sticking out of it that kind of has gold laying over top of it.
Like a little mortar and pestle
Exactly.
thing. I'll pick it up.
As you kind of pick it up and you're investigating it, it looks like a normal one. Nothing super special about it.
This would actually be good for grinding up some of this tea. Some of the spices I have too. Go in ramen. Huh. Put it in his little satchel.
Xandra, as you see Corey kind of flip the scarf around and you see Ivo clipping the belt, you see one of the glass vials that you threw has a red liquid in it. And you can only assume that you got so into the groove of just throwing them that you weren't even looking at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And it almost looks like symbiotic
Okay.
in a way. It's wrapping around itself in this vial. And you can see a needle sticking in the top of the cork.
Okay. Sandra will pick that up and inspect that a lot closer and be like, huh, I missed you. It'll actually be incredibly, incredibly useful.
Corey, give me a perception check.
Please hold.
I was so worried you were going to say it this session.
22.
You know for a fact, without a doubt, that what Xandra holds in her hands right now is the Blood Fury tattoo.
Oh! She pulls out a similar vial that holds the needle to her barrier tattoo. You might get something very interesting out of that if you hold it to your skin.
Oh, you have one.
And you'll note it's the entirety
Wonderful.
of the golden ink tattoo that goes up around the one that has the visage of Rieka and the great horned stag that forms the protective sigils across her arm.
Yes. That is much more useful to me as of right now, seeing as how I don't have the protection that I'm used to. And she sort of just ponders. Any idea where I should put it?
Where would you like it?
Everything's so covered up by my coat. What about a neck tattoo? Is that too gaudy?
No, not at all.
Fabulous. And she'll just sort of like poke the right side of her neck and begin that process.
Ivo, are you looking for anything else?
Maybe. I mean, I feel like he'd be looking for something that's potentially useful for Xandra. She was so intent on finding things. I found this belt, and he was not really too much about things. So if he is looking for anything, it's for Xandra. But looking around, he'll suddenly kind of look towards the door, realize we've had a sleep, pause momentarily, take out a piece of charcoal and his little pad of paper and mark one more day down and put it back in. Corey, a word, please. We can get back to looking for things momentarily.
Yes, always.
I know yesterday I said I didn't need to see my family. That was when I thought that I could bide more time. You and I both know that we're never promised tomorrow. And now we know for a fact that I am not promised 3 days from now. I don't want resentment to be the last thing I have towards my family. And I want them to know that I hold nothing against them. I know we have much larger things to worry about with horrors and a horde, apparently. And the people out there, there's a lot going on. It does seem far too selfish of me to ask this, but even if I just have to go, that's fine.
We want to get you to your father, Ivo.
I
I know
know.
even if others don't. I'll come with you. You should see them.
It's more important now than it was before. Before I was fine to move past it and not see them because it was not important. But realizing that you don't have time has changed things once again. I hate being this fickle, going back and forth of no and yes and all that, and I know you understand. And I'm sorry.
You have nothing to apologize for. Priorities change, and we realize now the extent of what has happened to us. It's the least we can do.
Yes. I just need them to know that they did the right thing no matter what.
As you finish that, you hear the click of the door, and you see it spin and drop open, and you see Briar with just this grim determination on his face. And he walks straight to you, Ivo. So, it took me a while to find this. I actually had to dimension jump for that, and for that the barrier is a little bit weaker. Still not too weak, but here. And he hands you a deck of cards. Time might be against us, but every once in a while we get lucky. You can add the deck of many things to your inventory. And with that, we are going to end tonight's
I have
session.
one of those.
Thank you all so much for stopping in and watching. Just a reminder, we got a session tomorrow, Friday, and Sunday, so drop in for those. We had a blast, and we will see you in 2 weeks.